Fellas, stop blindly tensing your pelvic floor and doing Kegels thinking it's going to fix or improve your erection quality without anything else aligned properly. Now watch this video to the end because this is one of the most common and ironic recommendations, and it's also one of the most misunderstood and in some cases damaging. That's right, it can cause erectile dysfunction. That's why I say it's so ironic. Now before I go any further, I just want to say this up front. What I'm about to explain is intentionally filtered in this video because of social media policies, and I can't show or explain the full process here. Alright, if you want the free, uncensored, step-by-step training, click the link in the description. Now, let's clear something up. Kegels are usually the first thing anyone mentions or thinks about when talking about hardness or even control. And yes, they can help, okay? Don't get me wrong here. But they are one small piece of a much larger system or ecosystem, so to speak, in your sexual performance. And when overused, misunderstood, or done in isolation, they can make things worse, not better. Here's why. The pelvic floor is a hammock of muscles inside the pelvis. Some of these muscles surround the erectile tissue that makes up a massive portion of the penis inside the body. Now, this is also something that most men don't even realize. The internal and external balance of the D is not a flaw. It's what allows you to get hard and actually stay hard. Now, the role of the pelvic floor is not to constantly squeeze, right? It's a pump. It is literally pneumatic in nature. A pump must be able to fully relax and fully contract with full strength. And here's the first major mistake most guys make. They only train to squeeze, right? Maybe that's a masculine thing, I'm not sure. Just tight all the time. When you constantly tense the pelvic floor without training relaxation, you teach it to stay tight. Tight muscles don't allow optimal blood flow. Less blood flow means less erection quality, not more. It's like training your biceps and never your triceps, and without ever stretching. Eventually the movement becomes restricted, strength becomes dysfunctional. And also, here's something important to remember. Most men do not have a weak pelvic floor. They have an over-tense one. These muscles are also constantly influenced by mental stress, emotional pressure, posture, breathing, and even sexual urgency and other dysfunctions. Over time, the system forgets how to relax. And here's the paradox most men miss as well. A muscle that can't fully relax can't actually fully contract either. That means you're only accessing a fraction of what its actual strength and control could be. So instead of thinking you need to tense more, many of you need to learn how to relax more. I know, easier said than done. But this is where the range of motion matters. Just like a bench press, strength comes from training the full range of motion, not just the top half of the movement. Now I know some of you are definitely culprits in the gym for that too. For the pelvic floor, that range looks like tensing, otherwise known as Kegels, and pushing or relaxing, also known as reverse Kegels. Both are essential. But even here, most guys still get it wrong. They train these muscles and movements out of context, out of the natural context of sexual cues. They might follow some recommendations like just do 50 Kegels in the car on the way to work. 1, how boring. 2, how forgetful. And 3, how ineffective. Okay, I'll be blunt. That's close to useless. Why? Because erection quality doesn't even start at the pelvic floor. It starts at the level of the nervous system. If there's no blood flow in the first place, there's nothing for the pelvic floor to work with. Think of it like this. The pelvic floor in the context of sexual performance for hardness and control is like a bike pump, okay? The nervous system is the valve that lets air into the pump in the first place. All right, if you're using the floor pump to pump up a bike tire and there's no air in the pump in the first place, there's no air to go into the bike tire. And if the valve is closed, you can pump all you want or try to, nothing's going to happen. Blood flow is governed by safety and readiness, all right? Sometimes not even by effort. And this is based in survival. That's why guys who just rely on squeezing harder, even under pressure, often lose control faster and may even end up with erectile dysfunction. All right, they're essentially trying to force a pump with no air in it in the first place, essentially. This is why training the pelvic floor in isolation without blood flow, without stimulation, without nervous system cues and readiness doesn't even translate to the bedroom. All right, the results don't show up. Now, to train this system properly, you need an accurate feedback loop. That means training in the context where blood flow is actually present inside of the erectile tissues, whether that's with a partner or even by yourself. The nervous system needs needs those cues that signal potential procreation, even if you're not looking to reproduce right now, or you can at all. To your biology though, it matters. That's how sexual biology and performance works. Your body prioritizes blood flow based on survival signals. I like to think of these 3 foundational master triggers almost like a master volume on the DJ deck. Health, right, your capabilities and functions as a human, relationships or otherwise a sense of connection and safety, like having a tribe or network, and resources, what we'd essentially call wealth or security, the ability to stay stable. When these are aligned and combined with mental, emotional, and physical stimulation and cues, the nervous system shifts gears and actually allows a directory of blood flow to the reproductive organs at all. Only then does the pelvic floor training become effective. Only then do Kegels and even reverse Kegels actually do what people claim they do. This is why simply just squeezing harder is not the answer. Control comes from blood flow first, nervous system regulation, a full range of the pelvic floor function training in the right context, not just mindless repetition out of context. And this is exactly why most men feel like they're doing everything right, they're putting the effort and time in, but they're still not seeing the results. All right, they're training one small piece of a bigger puzzle out of order, not even in the right context. And to be clear as well, this isn't about stopping pelvic floor work altogether. Right? It's about doing it correctly in the right sequence with the right inputs and cues. And again, there's a lot more nuance here that I definitely can't explain and show you. I'd love to, but I can't do it because I will get kicked off of social media again. If you want the full uncensored step-by-step process, it's free at totaleroshealth.com or click the link in the description. So if you've been frustrated with erection quality, getting up and staying up for the time you and even your significant other wants, maybe you lack the control you really want to bring to the bedroom. For you, that might not be lasting long enough or not even getting to climax soon enough. Everyone's control is a little bit different. This doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It simply means the system hasn't been trained properly, and systems can be retrained and fast when you work with the biology instead of fighting it. If you want to learn how, click the link in the description. I'll see you in the next video.